Southwest Nigeria. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and this morning on Vanguard, I'll be reviewing the front pages and also analyzing them. Now, let's move straight to the front page of Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard this morning is leading with our politicians still threatening credible polls. That's coming from INEC SOURCE. IRA Vratex will check rigging. How Nigerians can key in immediate access to upload the polling unit result by voters is key. Patriotic INEC staff averted rigging plot in Anambra governorship poll. You can see that story on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. And here we have a photo story. And of course, that's the story is on page 39. The writer says Qatar World Cup opens with fanfare despite criticisms. And there's also showing the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. And moving on page 9, PDP crisis. We are still open to reconciliation, says the G5 governors and others. Terror alert. We notified federal government, says a United Kingdom envoy. On page 35, 2023, I won't step down for anybody. NNPP's party to beat. That's coming from Kwankwaso. Gunmen kidnap a Kwara cleric, son, sibling, demand 100 million naira. 2023, it's turn of Southeast to produce next president. That's according to OHANAEZE. And the financial Vanguard, we have a federal government's domestic borrowing crowds out private sector in 2022. I studied law to fulfill my father's wish. That's coming from Amechi, and you can see that on page 8. And here, issues in 2023 elections, Electoral Act 2022. How strict adherence to rule of law can salvage 2023 elections. Full Federal High Court pre-election practice direction. You can see that story on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from there, we move to the Guardian. And Guardian is leading with next government to inherit 71.5 trillion naira debts liabilities after May 29. Federal government blames oil theft for massive borrowing. You can see that story on page 6. And lastly, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, we have 133 million poor Nigerians. Serap urges Buhari to probe spending on social intervention programs. You can see that story on page 4 of the Guardian. And this morning, the nation is leading with 2023 G5 governors allies to sustain anti-Atiku moves. Aggrieved the PDP governors chieftains meet in Lagos. Wike Makinde autumn Ikwazu insist on Ayu's sack. You can see that story on page 4. Now on page 6, we have gunmen kill 3 policemen in Enugu. And stories above. Interest rates hike likely as CBN reviews indicators. And lastly, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, more Nigerians seeking United Kingdom visa, says High Commissioner. And away from there, we'll move to the Punch newspaper. And the Punch this morning is leading with NFIU flags 150 trillion naira transactions. EFCC tracks candidate spending. Suspicious transaction up by 22.91% amid rising political activities. And here we have 3 photo stories. And of course, that story can be seen on page 30. It says, Zenith Bank lights up Victoria Island for Christmas. Gunmen abduct a Kwara cleric, son, demand 100 million naira ransom. Stories above, pro-Fayemi lawmakers plotting my removal. That's according to Ekiti Speaker. Lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have how foreigners middlemen capture Nigerian gas market. You can see that story on pages 42 and 43 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I'm Damilola Okunshaki. All right, so straight to the front pages. It's our politicians still threatening credible polls, and that's according to an INEC SOURCE. So of course, complimenting the effort of INEC in its drive to Nigerians free, fair, and credible elections in 2023. Vanguard can say it can provide Nigerians a step-by-step process on how to assist the Commission and indeed the nation to deliver elections worthy of their calling. Last week, the national chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, recommitted the commission to it avoid determination to deliver on the promise of free, fair and credible elections. He insisted that beavers and the uploading of results real-time had come to stay. Now, the nagging question is whether Nigerians will have access to viewing polling unit results as they are uploaded on the INEC server and its result viewing portal. That's INEC election result viewing portal simultaneously. The national chairman, Professor Yakubu, and Festus Okoye, national commissioner and chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, avoided making a commitment to Nigerians that as polling unit results have been uploaded to the INEC server, the same results will be uploaded to INEC election results viewing simultaneously portal for the viewing confirmations of Nigerians. And Vanguard was informed by INEC sources at its headquarters in Abuja that there is difference between real-time upload of results to the INEC server and the real-time upload of results to the IREF portal. Now, of course, you can get more of that story. If you want to know the difference, just get a copy of Vanguard newspaper or visit our website. You get that story there. Now, let's move away from that and talk about the PDP crisis. Of course, there's still a lot going on in PDP, especially with the G5. And now let's move on. And of course, the 5 governors elected on the platform of PDP, some aggrieved party leaders and presidential candidate of the party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, yesterday agreed on the need for reconciliation to trash out issues that have promoted the crisis within the party. Now, the agreed governors and leaders of the party also announced information the formation of what they described as integrity group. Recall that the presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Governor Wike had been at daggers drawn over removal of Ayu and the need for the South to produce the party's national chairman. The G5s and some party leaders issued a communique after a strategic meeting in Lagos yesterday. Addressing newsmen, the former Plateau State Governor, Mr. Jonah, said the group had not closed its doors on reconciling with Atiku. Of course, Nigerians are interested in this because election is close, and one of the things they're talking about is can the PDP and, of course, the G5 reconcile without Ayu leaving the party. Now we're curious, but of course, you can get that story inside Vanguard newspaper. Now let's move on and talk about OHANAEZE. But of course, I'll go on a short break, and when we return, our correspondent will be giving us details about this. All right, now talking to us now is our correspondent, Clifford. He'll be talking about the OHANAEZE and its decisions. Now, Clifford, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, Apex Igbo Social Cultural Organization, OHANAEZE Indigo, yesterday through its support behind the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, saying it's the turn of the South-East to produce the next Nigerian president. Can you give us more details about this?
Anyway, the OHANAEZE has been backing some candidates all this while, not from the East. In 2015, in 2011, they showed their support for Jonathan. In 2015, they did likewise. In 2019, they also threw their support to Atiku Abubakar. And this time around, they are saying, given the way the country is structured, that it should be the turn of the Southeast. And they've looked at all the candidates according to them. Peter Obi is not the only candidate from the Southeast. But they look at him given his performance in Anambra as governor and what he has been able to do, his character, his competence, and all that. They said, well, he is the best foot forward for the Southeast. And they'll be asking other parts of the country to support. They'll be meeting with the Middle Belt Forum, they'll be meeting with NNPP, they'll be meeting with the South and Middle Belt leaders to agree on that. And they're asking other Nigerians to support the Labour Party candidates.
All right, let's talk about the NNPP candidate, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. On Sunday, he asked
Yes,
those expecting him to step down for another flag bearer to perish the
yes,
talks. Can you give us more details
yes.
about this?
Yes, Kwankwaso at that meeting with the Nigerian Guild of Editors said anybody asking any of the candidates now to step down, that the person will be doing a disservice to that candidate. Because the window for that, the window for alliances, for mergers, according to the election timetable, has been closed. You understand? So, so he said it will not be wise to step down for anybody now. But apart from that, he says the NNPP is the only party that is growing now, according to him. That the other parties are going down, especially the APC and PDP. Today they are going down. That people are not happy with the state of affairs in the country, and then he blamed the APC and PDP for the state of affairs. He said many Nigerians are tired, and they want a change. And that change, according to him, they believe will come through him. He was saying if they had allowed him to be president in 2019, that by now we won't be complaining of these things we are complaining about. Now, he said, looking at the whole thing, that he's the best candidate, Kwankwaso said he has been a member of House of Representatives, he has been a senator, he has been a two-time governor, he has been Minister of Defense, and he has a PhD in engineering, and then he was really not what he performed or what he did as governor in terms of education, giving scholarship to people from all over the country. So long as you are qualified and you are a resident of Canada, you get them scholarship, many of them all over the world. So he says he has what it takes to turn the fortunes of the country around if given the opportunity. And having that kind of experience and capacity to do that, why will he step down for any other candidate? He said those who are spinning the rumor or story of his stepping down are detractors who don't want him to become the president of the country.
Thank you very much, Clifford, for joining us this morning. Yes, and of course, that's Clifford. He just gave us more details about the Kwankwaso story. And of course, to end this today, let's just quickly talk about ongoing World Cup in Qatar. And of course, when you're talking about that World Cup going on in Qatar, there's been a lot of controversies. So after 2 months of controversy leading up to the tournament, our focus turned to the matter on the pitch as Qatar 2022 began. But there was no respite on the pitch for the hosts as they were comprehensively outplayed throughout the first ever World Cup match. Have you seen a third minute ever ruled out for offside? Ecuador captain Valencia wrote his name in his history books when he scored the first goal of Qatar 2022 with the penalty shot 16 minutes before he took his tally of World Cup final goals to 5 with a brilliant headed second. And Ecuador took their foot off the gas in the second half, yet Qatar failed to muster any kind of response. And of course, many people have been talking about this, that after, they really had a great opening. After an energetic opening ceremony, the opening ceremony featured Hollywood greats Morgan Freeman and South Korean pop star Jungkook, who is also a mentor of BTS, that's Bangtan Boys. FIFA President Gianni Infantino declared that let the show begin. But of course, Qatar could not have got off to a worse start. It was really a worse one, as they lost to Ecuador. I think that's the first time that the host country is losing their first game. But of course, it's not going to end today, as England will also be playing against Iran today. And of course, Senegal also will be playing Netherlands. And of course, 2 o'clock and 5 p.m., I'm sure you'll be glued to your TV. So make sure you tune into Vanguard, as we'll be giving you updates on these. And our website also, there'll be live updates there. But let's quickly look at what Mr. and Mrs. are saying. And the first person speaking today Mrs. She says, don't forget to tell your boss that your salary is too small and you need a new car. Do I need to put a note in your pocket to remind you? Mr. says, there's no need. I will give you his phone number. I think it's better for Mrs. to call, the boss so that they can they can increase Mr.'s salary. I mean, women, we have our way with words. But this is where we have to draw the curtain today. Do what to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. My name is Damlola Okushaki. Have a lovely week.